What's up, everybody? How is everyone doing this evening or whenever you're watching this video? I have maybe one issue, and it's not even really an issue. It is a growth tip, if you will. Be okay with being ostracized, okay? Be okay with being judged. You are going to need to, and you have to, you don't have to if you don't want to, if you don't want to grow. But again, this is what my channel is all about: personal growth and self-love, and just being productive in that. So you have to be uncomfortable. And part of that uncomfortability, if that's a word, it's a word because I said it's a word. Part of that is learning how to be alone. Learning how to be alone and being comfortable in being alone. Because when you're alone and you're comfortable in your loneliness, I don't necessarily believe that it's loneliness. I believe that it's just being in solitude. I don't think we're ever really lonely. You're just alone. You tend to find who you are. You come into grips. You come to grips, not into grips. You come to grips with who you are. And for the longest time, I didn't know who I was. I had an idea of who I was, but I didn't necessarily know who I was. See, I was raised in an abusive household. My mom got beat daily, on a daily basis. My mom was beat. And I was molested by the very man that said that he was my dad. And come to find out, he really wasn't my real dad. He was my stepdad. And my body was subjected to sex at a very early age. And so I got into a relationship based on sex. I didn't understand what a healthy relationship should be. And so I fought for something that on a daily basis was telling me no. I didn't know because I was raised in a household, mind you, that I was not necessarily taught how to disregard myself, but I wasn't taught on how to love myself, not to judge myself, and know that we go through these ebbs and flows in life. I was not taught that. I was taught in how to please. And so I carried that same behavior into my marriage, into my relationships, into my friendships. And now that I'm not there, and I have now started to please myself and not judge myself so harshly, having compassion for myself and loving myself, I know now who I am, where I don't necessarily know how I'm getting there. And I've said this before, but I'm working on getting to one of my goals, a couple of my goals, whatever goal I'm working on. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to get there. Guarantee I'm going to get there. I'm a pretty strong-willed person. So know who you are, and if you don't know, please, I beg of you to find out who you are. Stop allowing your mom or dad tell you who you are, especially as a grown individual. Just because they live their life a certain way doesn't mean that you have to live your life that way. We have parents as leaders. We don't have parents, and they're guides. A guide does not necessarily mean you are contracted to follow. That is not what a guide. It's a guide. It is a lead. It's for you to lead, you know, for them to lead you. Not necessarily for you to take a carbon, to be their carbon copy. I think that's where I fell off with, is I took my parents' relationship and I tried to model myself after them, but still be in a new type of environment, or create a new type of environment, if you can understand that. And it just didn't work. I didn't know, because I was gaslit, you know. I was gaslit into thinking that I was doing the right thing, when I knew deep down inside, I could say this, I knew deep down inside that it was wrong. I was just believing one's word. And yeah, I did things in the relationship that were wrong. Yeah, I did. And I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm just saying that I did it, and it's, you know, yes, I did it, and it's over with. I didn't know what I was doing, but I forgive myself, and I hold space for righting my wrongs, because no one can right my wrongs but me. No one can right your wrongs but you. So take time, you know, and figure out who you are, what you want in life. Start working on that mental health. Go to counseling. If you can't go to counseling, journal. I go to counseling and I journal, and it helps. Do something different. Don't do the same thing. Do something different so that you can get different. See, I was so used to getting the same thing, I thought that was right. Come to find out, it was wrong. You know? When you know, you know. When you don't know, you don't know. And then when you know, you're supposed to take that new found knowledge and change your future. And so, see, that's what I'm doing now. I'm changing my future, because now I know. Now I'm okay with being by myself. I've always been okay with being by myself. Now I'm really okay. Now it's almost addictive, that my peace, there's no price on my peace. No price on my peace. You cannot, that drama is so overrated. It's so overrated. And I'm here, I say that there's no price on my peace because I did my work. I am continuously doing my work. Continuously do your work. You cannot live this life without doing your work. It is absolutely, virtually impossible. You're going to get the same thing. I was telling my son this. I was saying that you may not realize it, but all you're doing is you're going in circles. And you get back to the top and you're like, okay, I made it. I'm gonna do something different. And then you start that circle all over again. And it's just, you're chasing your tail. You're chasing your tail. So what are you gonna do different? Are you gonna stop going out so that you can start your healing, so you can start really reflecting on what you're doing? You're gonna stop drinking? I haven't had a glass of wine since November of last year, 2022. I've been dry ever since, and I love me a good glass of Malbec. That is my favorite. And I don't know when I'll be ready to drink again, but as of right now, I'm dry and I enjoy it. I want a glass of wine though, but I'm gonna hold out. When God tells me that I am ready to step back out into this world, then I'll do it. I'll have me a glass of wine. I don't know. But right now, I am cleansing, I'm detoxing, and it's not, I'm deep in it. I'm in it. And God has shown me some things about myself, because I'm working on me. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I'm working on me. I'm bettering myself for me and my 3 boys. That's all I have control over, and that's all I want control over. I don't want control over anything or anybody else. Do you? Don't bring that mess over here. You know what I mean? So this is just a little talk that I'm having with you guys, whoever's gonna watch this video, and give a little like advice on how you change your future. You change your future by changing your now, and you change your now by looking inside. And stop looking, and I will say this till the end of time, stop seeking external validation. That goes for mom and dad. And even if you're a teenager, there's so much your parents can give you. You still have to seek that inside. You have to seek your inside, and fixing this heart space and loving yourself, and stop expecting people. Yes, your parents should love you unconditionally, but stop expecting that external love. Stop being in relationships because society says we should be in a relationship by a certain age. No, you don't have to. You don't have to have kids by a certain age. If you don't have to be in a relationship by a certain age, you don't have to do any of that. None of that society says you need to do. You have to have 3.5 kids, 2.5 kids, a white picket fence. You don't need it. You don't have to have it. No. Who says it? Just because society says it, why are we following society's rules? Why are we conforming to something somebody wrote in a book because that's how they wanted their life? Why do we conform to these things? Why? What is the purpose of it all? Why does it have to fit this why do we have to fit into this box? Why can't we just be? If we're not harming anyone, why can't we just be? And figure it out when we figure it out. Get you a little job, you know what I mean? You know, you don't have to have the latest car. You don't have to have the latest clothes. You don't have to have the latest. You don't have to fit in. You don't have to do it. You just don't have to. It doesn't have to have, you don't have to have a reason why you don't want to. It's just a no, I don't want to do it. You don't have to do it. If you don't want to. And you don't have to have a reason why you don't have to do, why you don't want to do it. I have one kid that, my eyes lately have been so weird. I need my glasses, but there's like this, my vision's clear, then my vision gets blurry. Then my vision's clear, then my vision gets blurry. It's the weirdest thing. I can't explain what's going on with my vision. I need to go see a doctor because my vision's changing, and my vision hasn't changed in years. My prescription has stayed the same. When I tell you for decades, my prescription has stayed the same. I've literally just changed frames because my vision has stayed the same. But lately my vision's changing, and so I need to go see an optometrist. So I tell my kids, you know, one kid, he doesn't want to eat breakfast in the morning. And I said, well, why don't you want to eat breakfast? He's like, because I don't want to. I said, well, you don't have to if you don't want to. You don't have to have a reason. You just don't want to. Every now and again, I will make him eat something because he just can't go without eating, especially because he's into soccer and he's wanting to be an athlete. Like, he wants to be supreme. And in order to be supreme, you have to eat the right things. And so I'm teaching him how to care for his body in the right way and care for it in a way that suits him. Not because mom says it, not because dad says it. What do you want to do? What do you feel right doing? What makes you be like, okay, this I can do? So I'm teaching him how to listen to himself. That's guiding him. That is what I feel like parenting is. I feel like parenting is a guide. I feel like parenting is being a leader and doing it for myself and then showing him how to do it, or them how to do it for themselves, and not look outside to someone else to lead you because just because it works for them, it doesn't have to work for us. Again, I say, why do we have to fit into a box? Why do we have to fit into a box? Why is it necessary for the box to be created to begin with? Why? So, this is just a little chat that I wanted to have with you all. Whoever's listening to this, whoever's watching it to the end. I'm going to open up my comments because I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear what you all have to say about conformity. How have you conformed to society's ways? How does it make you feel that you've actually like conformed? Have you realized that you've conformed? Have you realized that you've been in a box all this time? And if you like being in a box, you like being told what to do, I'm not talking to you. So don't get on here talking about, I like this, so you like it, and I'm not talking to you. Go on about your little business. So, what else do I have to say? That's it. I don't have anything else to say. But show yourself some compassion, especially if you're trying to figure yourself out. I am in my 40s and I'm just figuring myself out. It doesn't happen in your 20s for all. For some, it could. It doesn't have to happen in your 20s. It doesn't have to happen in your 30s. It happens when it happens. And be okay with when it happens. And just know that it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be okay. Find that one person that doesn't mind holding space for you. And if you have to hold space for yourself and you can't hold space for anybody else, like, okay, you don't have to. What you want?
Wrap some of the Popeyes.
It's in the refrigerator. So, you don't have to hold space for anybody else. You don't have to. If you can't find anybody to hold space for you. I have enough space to hold for you. In the comments, this is why I'm going to leave it open. In the comments, ask yourself, what do you need in this time, in this present moment? One thing that my therapist says to me is depression is thinking too much into the past, and anxiety is thinking too much in the future. It's okay to plan out your future. It may not go according to plan, and that's okay as well. You have to learn how to shift and adjust. We all have to learn how to shift and adjust. That's what I love about project management. Like, the plan is the plan, yes. The end result is to complete the project on time and on budget, and so that your stakeholders are satisfied. Everybody is satisfied, right? There is no guarantee that the plan is going to go according to plan. Be flexible. Be flexible. Stop being so rigid. I used to be so rigid. It had to go according to plan. Now I know why. It's my upbringing. My parents did it to me. They were unhealed. We need to stop having kids. Us unhealed people or unhealed people needs to stop having kids until you're healed. Because let me tell you something. Y'all are doing some work on these kids, adults. I have one. I have an oldest one that I should not have had kids at a young age, but I did, and it's okay. But ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Don't worry about how you're going to get there. Ask yourself, what do you want? Hold space for you and your needs and wants. And if you don't have space for anyone else but you and your kids, that's okay. This is not a female male thing. This is just a you thing. This is just a human being thing. All right? If you have friends that has space for you and that love you unconditionally, and they don't mind you coming to them, but it has to be reciprocated, right? You can't just go to them and they can't come to you. It's a good give and take. It's reciprocity. That's a good friendship. And just know that nothing is linear. My therapist says, Tamara, why are you so hard on yourself? It's not linear. It's hard. You're gonna have ebbs and flows, and so go with the flow. You ever like looking at waves? It comes and goes. It just comes and goes. You have these high highs. You have these low lows. And there's periods where it's just rest and calm. Be okay with all of that. Find solitude in all of that. That's life. Learn how to work within those confined constraints. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. Don't forget. Don't forget. What do you want in life? How does your life look for you? What makes you happy? What do you want? Not how you're going to get there. What do you want in life? Yeah. I will no longer settle. No. I'm too beautiful of a person to settle. Are you serious? I'm not even talking about looks. It's my heart. Nope. I know what I bring to the table. I'm a creator. I create life. That in and of itself is enough. I'm a powerful being. Do you know how powerful you are? Think about it. Take your time. Write it down. Let's start making that change in the world here first. That's what you do. That's how change happens. That's how change is sustainable. Stop expecting everybody outside of you to change before you change. Stop giving everybody advice on what you need to do or what they need to do when you haven't did your work yourself. How dare you? How dare you? Show yourself some grace and compassion and love. But don't stay stagnant in the fact that your plans didn't work. So, change. It's about the waves. It's the ebbs and flows in life. Enjoy the waves. Enjoy it. It's a beautiful thing. That's all I got. I ain't got no more. I love you guys.